deadly in every version. Deadly in every version. African to the queen. You don't have to know what it means to feel it. Feel it when you feel it. Soft as shade.
I think emotion and communication. Communicating, emotion, those things seem to crop up, like expression, emotion, communication. Obviously, like expression and communication are two different things, but sometimes like you can communicate and you're not actually expressing anything. You know, you can communicate, quote unquote, and you just, the only thing you're expressing is the text. Hello, my name is Steve, and you are invited to a 50% bonus point scam. That's not necessarily expression, although it is communication. Or rather, what it's expressing is not emotion, so you need to express emotion and communicate that emotion to other people. So like, yeah, if you break it down, expression, emotion, communication. Communication means other people, it doesn't mean just you, you know? Expression obviously, you know, means like to get something from within yourself out, X, you know, as in away from impression. I don't know what impression is. If an impression is receiving an impression of something. What's impression? Press has press, so to press is to put pressure on, to touch, you know, that's what I would reckon it. So expression is like an outward touch, to touch outside.
To touch people.
Yeah, to touch people. Yeah, touch people, you know? And then touch people like with and from emotion, that's really important as well. So.
About?
Yeah, I'm constantly doing research to accumulate which messages, when put inside the machine that is music or whatever, like the equation. I like the word equation because, you know, the equation that is music, what figures you can feed into the equation called music that will be most beneficial in the equation that we call life, or at least the equation that we call, you know, community and people and whatnot. So yeah, like there's a lot of different things. Like basically I'm trying to communicate core values to almost reprogram people's value system to one that I intrinsically feel and sometimes is missing, and one that I intrinsically feel that is necessary, you know, like, and I guess I'm trying not to be reactionary. These are sisters from before. Try not to be reactionary, man, like at all. Question the AIDS hypothesis, question it like thoroughly, question the HPV, question like why they're trying to line up all the young women in the world and give them shots right now, like especially right now, like as of right now with unfounded sort of psychobabble, like vaccine. How do you vaccine against something that you don't know if it does what it does for 40 years anyways? Like read into it. Just that's, you know, those kind of messages are messages that I'm trying to get out there. You know, like I want to find things that are really useful and really controversial, meaning like pieces of information that are not instantaneously accessible, so you can go for your like greater, your larger things, you know, like your big old save the world, you know, la la la, let's all have a hug kind of things, and then you can also send out really accurate, specific and useful messages, like don't go to the hamburger shop on Tuesday because Mo the barber's got a knife and he's gonna cut his wrist and, you know, put it in the food and it's really gross or something like that.
Sure.
I'd like to put those things, those useful things, and not only the magical useful things, but the directly useful things, like question the AIDS hypothesis. Yeah. That's actually a big one. Constructive sort of audio and sound and messages are one thing, but you've got to give people something else as well, like almost as an antecedent to that. Like maybe you do or you don't, but you can't just tell people not to believe in anything, like, or don't believe in this and then give them nothing to believe in, like, you know, like, because it's one thing to be able to run away from stuff, but you got to have a place to go to, or at least you got to give people the strength to build some place to go to, or even the strength just to make their place better, you know, like, and not just better for them, but better for everybody. I don't know. It's really like social engineering, like whatever, like, you know, and social engineering without a degree and a lot of study, with just like, you know, an intuitive sort of street level knowledge of that, and my love of life that I want to help, you know, share with everybody else, because maybe in a really selfish way, like I like the world, you know, like, and I know it's better when people are happy and like stuff like that, like just basically everything bad you do comes back to you. So that's that whole question of like, what is it? The question of altruism, you know, like, is there really such a thing as altruism when We just do things to suit ourselves. 357 Magnum, revolver on the hip. When you're in Australia, sometimes it's called the police state. There's armed women walking down the street. I've been in Aotearoa. They got guns in the trunk of the car. You know they're there somewhere. Occasionally on October 15th, they kick down your door and bust into your bike shop, or walk up into your home on your tribal land or whatever, on your iwi land, where it should belong to you in the first place. They should have no right to enter under any authority or whatever, and basically commit terrorist actions on people that they're blaming for being terrorists, and all that stuff, man. There are concrete things that you can talk about, think about, and do something about, and be a part of, and just be really, really scrutinizing. Hey, don't trust it. But if you've got enough information that you can't prove to yourself that this is, bollocks or whatever, and it's actually crucial that you do something about it, then you really should be doing your best to do something about it. At least, even if that doing something is just to open up a forum or a discussion or something.
Do you think that's your job and your role in life?
Yeah, I hope so. Look, if you're an MC, man, you can talk and it can just be a lot of pretty words and people get a cool feeling from it, or you can actually say something.
Yeah.
So, I guess I've taken, look, I'm from the Songhai, I'm from the Songhai Empire, from the Mali Empire. My bloodline is the bloodline of griots, we tell people the news. We take the news all over the world, and we've been doing this for generations, It's different when it's a job that, some people will be shoemakers and their last name is Shoemaker. My name is storyteller. My name is remember things and tell it to the world. You know what I mean? Travel 1,000 miles and keep it in your brain.
That's what Mahal means.
No, that's Mahal means temple, but that's another part of it too. Yeah. I can't give you any direct explanations, but you're just talking about differences, different sides of the spectrum.
Okay.
Occasionally I'll put on some grindcore, blurcore, noisecore that my brother will send me, you know what I mean? And I find it really refreshing because it kind of resets the filter. Everything becomes noise. You have a million voices in a room, and you hear this sort of and you start picking words out, and that's if you play a lot of nice songs and you're not a DJ about it, that's what kind of happens. And sometimes the only thing you can use to clear your brain is noise.
Like an enema.
Yeah, like an audio enema. It's a terrible way of looking at it because my brain's not my asshole. And all that. Anyways, I don't clear out the spiritual asshole or whatever of the world. But there's other ways to cleanse. I don't know. Yeah, you probably need the bottom line cleanse. So yeah. In the same way you tune in a radio, you can tune yourself to yourself ultimately. Perhaps more than yourself at a certain level. We are everything, and the more you tune yourself into yourself, and eventually you find that basis when we are, that sort of spooky, we are all one serendipity, control the universe with a heartbeat that resonates all across the stars and whatnot. Then sort of feedback, sometimes it's just the distance between here and now, one cycle and that loop or whatever, depending on your mental distance between here and now, might resonate in a different way or whatever. Yeah, so the question is, how long have you been unaware of it?
Okay, sure.
Because you're born aware of it, you're born in total synchronicity with everything, you know, and it's the story goes that basically you're taken out of yourself and turned into something else, turned into you, your name, and then separate entity and whatnot, something different from everything else,
Sure.
given a call sign, and go through the forest and name a tree, and then that tree is no longer part of the forest, supposedly, and that's life. We go through the forest and name the children our tree, our little trees, tell them where they are and who they're related to, and somehow they might forget for a while at some point. So yeah, I don't know, there was a remembering, but when you remember something, the question is, did you ever really forget it or whatever? Layers, bro, layers.